be doing a term project.
अपना नहीं हुआ था क्या?
I hope you
finally
followed the lecture which I gave and subsequently by my PhD student regarding. You can refer to the slides. You have to get hold of HIP 98. Okay, you can get hold of HIP 98 from the Mechanics of Human Body folder, Google shared drive, or you can also download it from Orthoload website. So the Orthoload website is a highly resourceful website. Okay, and if you follow the lecture slides, you can easily see the content which is in the lecture slides. Mostly things are written in such a manner so that it supplements the content of the HIP 98. Okay. So first thing first, you make groups and devote time. The other thing, the two papers by Bergman and Heller, those back-to-back papers which are associated with HIP 98, that is also mentioned in the lecture which I have uploaded.
Sir.
Yeah.
So sir, a group can have maximum 5 people, right?
Yes, maximum
okay,
5
sir.
people. 4 to 5. Okay. Now these are term projects, so you have to first download those two papers. Okay, of Bergman Heller. I think 2001 paper. Okay. Because there are the coordinate systems are defined and it is related to HIP. So of course you have to know the basic anatomy, physiology of the movements of the hip and the muscles. So there is a lot of study, self-study you have to do, devote time on self-study. Okay. From there, how they are relating to the calculations in HIP 98 that you have to understand. Okay. And how they are measuring the data, measuring directly the hip joint reaction forces, maybe the muscle forces with EMG, and how they are calculating. And thereafter they are comparing. Okay, so that understanding should be clear, and you have to narrate that understanding in showing some calculations, how to calculate musculoskeletal forces and movements during a particular physiological activity. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now a lot of time needs to be devoted on the two papers, as I told you, downloading HIP 98, digging into the HIP 98 for different data. Okay, but these things you can start doing, then only you will appreciate the subject. Okay, just if I give you lectures, it will not help you to learn the subject. Unless you are in the driver's seat, you cannot learn how to drive a car. Okay, we are there to help you with directions and techniques. We will discuss more. On Wednesday, I will take a class. Sebi, my PhD student, he is rather new. Basil is maturing. So Basil will be submitting next month. And but Sebi was my last year student, last semester student. So he has also undergone it. He can share his experience with you. But I have planned in such a way, Wednesday we will be discussing in the class. Thursday I am traveling, so I cannot take class to Bhubaneswar. Friday I will of course be available from my hotel room in Bhubaneswar. Okay. So in that class, on Friday class, I will be there, but the class will be mostly an interactive class where Sebi will share his experience regarding the term project, so that it helps you all. Okay. So this is basically the plan next week, right? So next Thursday there will be no class. Wednesday there will be class. Friday there will be class. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
But in the meantime, what you should do is, see, basic static analysis we have explained you very clearly. You have also done problems. Now comes the inverse dynamics, where the dynamic effect is being. Somebody raised hand. Just a moment. Who raised hand? Oops. Okay. Now, when you are taking into account the inertial parameters and considering a limb segment undergoing motion, then we are actually relying on some measurement data obtained from 3D motion capture system, that is position, velocity, acceleration. Okay. And from there, using the inertial parameters like your moment of inertia of a particular limb segment, we are calculating joint torques or joint moments and joint reaction forces. This is the extra what we are doing in inverse dynamics. Okay, so you start from a known data, which is the ground reaction force. So if you consider the lower limb, starting from hip, knee, ankle, till the point at which you strike the ground. So you start from a known force form data, which is obtained from force platform. And then using all these inertial parameters, particular segment of the body, say foot segment, you calculate joint moments of torques and the joint reaction forces. Once you obtain that, based on the stick diagram or the link diagram, you move to the next segment. What is the next segment? That is the tibial segment, okay, below knee. So from knee joint till the ankle joint is one rigid segment, right? Rigid link. So you have now calculated for the ankle joint. So with that known value and with, of course, the inertial parameters and other calculations, you obtain the next set of reaction forces and moments at the knee joint. Like this, you move from knee to hip, you can go on calculating. But that is based on basic kinematics knowledge, isn't it? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So if you look at those presentation and sort of what I have supporting reading materials, it is sufficient for you to start your project. Okay. But see, inverse dynamics is this part of calculation. But when perhaps in the next lecture or on Friday's lecture, we will SEBI might be presenting something on the static optimization procedure. Okay, SEBI is present here. SEBI?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm here.
What is a good time for you? Friday?
Yeah, Friday will be fine.
Friday or Wednesday, if you also like, you can share your experience.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that
it's
is a
up to your
static,
convenience.
yeah, static optimization procedure. Here in your problem, if you can recollect that in the problem on elbow joint, we have assumed that the muscle is stressed at an average level, sigma m. I hope everybody has understood that. Okay, so there is a mean stress intensity in the muscle. But in case of when we are doing real calculation, more detailed calculation of the muscle forces, this mean stress value of muscles is not what we are aiming at. Okay, so muscle, as I told you, can have a convergent, divergent shape, and it can be defined by more than a single line of force. So as I told you in shoulder, you can see the see the table, refer to the table back, which I presented, muscle deltoidus, muscle trapezius. There are many convergent divergent muscle which cannot be represented by one single line of force. So there may be 5 or 6 lines of force used to actually define the action of the muscles.
Sir,
Okay. Yeah.
Sir, I had a doubt like in those
Yeah.
classes, like how are these 5 lines of force? I mean, do they act simultaneously or they correspond to 5 different orientations?
They correspond to 5 different orientations. The insertion point may be same, but the insertion points on 2 bones, say. Okay, one on the humerus, one on the scapula, for example, right? One on the clavicle, starts from clavicle, goes to the humerus. The papers. So the muscle insertion points, even in my, if I recollect in my lecture on shoulder, okay, let me just see. Where is the shoulder? Shoulder biomechanics, and let me just open. Yeah, origin and insertion. Okay, let me just share this table with you. Can you see it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So see, muscle trapezius. So there are 2 parts. One is clavicle part and the scapular part. Origin is thorax, insertion is at clavicle. Origin is thorax, insertion scapula. Okay, so based on this origin and insertion of the muscles, you know, and also as you said that if a muscle has 5 or 6 lines of force, that obviously mean if you look into the picture, no, not this one. I had a picture with rough diagram. Yeah, here. So see how muscle trapezius is acting. Okay. How muscle deltoidus is acting. How muscle serratus anterior is acting. Okay. Just to get a feel that the lines of force is representing the muscle element. The orientation of the lines of forces or the line of action of the lines of forces are changing from one point to the other. Okay.
So
So
while action, the lines are changing.
yeah, it depends on what activity it's undergoing. Okay, it is represented by 6 lines of force. So you may have to number these lines of force. I think we are a little bit deviating. Let us come to the point that the mean stress, what we assume in our simplified calculation, as you did for the elbow joint, is not actually true. It is a simplification. Okay, it's idealization of the reality. If you want to calculate muscle forces, okay, there is a static optimization technique, okay, and based on some values, measured and calculated values, the muscle forces are calculated. That has been done in case of HIP 98, and calculated values have been compared with measured values, okay, to validate the procedure as well validate the calculated values, everything. So there is a rigorous validation procedure where you can see that one thing is a measured quantity, the same quantity has been calculated in form of muscle forces, okay, employing some static optimization technique. Okay, so this static optimization technique is certainly a little advanced level topic. Okay, but we will discuss it so that you get a comprehensive idea. We will actually discuss one technique. There are several techniques of optimization. I mean, basically how to optimize the optimization criteria. Now, there are techniques like where we actually minimize the sum of the squares of the muscle stresses. Okay, and that is where actually you need the physiological cross-sectional area. You need the physiological cross-sectional area. You need the insertion and origin of the muscles. All these things you actually, the anthropometric data, the anatomical data you actually need. Okay. So SEBI we are discussing about a presentation. We are trying to finalize something which is simple for you to understand. So we will be concentrating on one of the popular techniques. And then there are, of course, other techniques of optimization. Various researchers have contributed. We will give reference to that, but learning one technique is good enough to understand the mathematical procedure involved in the musculoskeletal system calculation. Okay, so we would like to highlight on one technique. Okay, there are other techniques. There, of course, there are several optimization techniques, and you all know. And accordingly, so that would be something which is little bit advanced level, as we have said that in the slide earlier, muscle forces can be calculated using a statistical optimization technique. Okay, so that means there will be an iterative scheme. Just let me come back. So there will be an iterative scheme, and so there should be a desired value, and of course, the whole simulation will run to reach that desired value. Okay, so in order to minimize the errors. But the optimization criteria, one of the most popularly used optimization criteria is minimizing the square of the stresses of the muscles. So there you would need the physiological cross-sectional area data, as well as, of course, the forces, the directions from origin and insertion. Okay, so let us not say many things at one time, one by one. So first thing what you should do is form groups, as I told you. Second thing is each group should enter into the HIP 98. Okay, so first download the two papers by the Heller-Bergman group that is already indicated in the second lecture of Basil. Okay, I think that is also available in our folder, Mechanics of Human Body. If not, I can also upload, but you can do it straight away. It's Journal of Biomechanics website, Science Direct. You can, if you just Google it, you can obtain that paper. It's very, very famous. It's almost like Newton's law in biomechanics. It has been referred so much. And now, there in the paper, you will get to know the details of the coordinate systems. Okay, coordinate system, transformation of coordinate system plays very important role in the calculations. Okay, so you should be aware of the mathematical techniques of coordinate transformation. Is that clear? I hope you all know this coordinate transformation, local to global, global to local.
Yes, sir.
The rotational matrix, translational vector. Okay,
Yes,
so yeah, if you not, you have to get hold of the technique, and or if you have forgotten, you have to brush it up. It is also a little bit mentioned in the book by David A. Winters. That is basically chapter 4 is anthropometry data, kinetics is chapter 5, forces and moments, and maybe three-dimensional kinematics. Yeah. So three-dimensional chapter 7, in chapter 7, 176 page number. Three-dimensional kinematics and kinetics. There you have axis system, global reference system, local reference systems, rotation of axis, dot product, all these things, cross products. So these are basic things that you need. Now, please get on with the work, because that is interesting, and you can learn a lot by doing this project. Okay, just lecturing is not enough. Lecturing sometimes may be a little bit more confusing rather than doing it yourself. So it's a do it yourself type project. Okay?
Yes, sir.
But if you can connect sequentially, say my lectures on, say, gait analysis, then later on postures, moments, how moments are created due to change in posture, how these muscle forces are counteracting the moments. And then if you move on to these levels that we had discussed, inverse dynamics and then static optimization, my lecture along with the 2 lectures of Basil and Basil, I think you would be in a position to take on HIP 98. Okay, but remember, HIP 98 is focused on hip joint. That's the reason it's called HIP 98. Okay, so obviously you need to know the muscles like the abductor muscles, abductor group of muscles, vastus medialis, vastus lateralis, iliotibial tract. So those things are there. Okay. There is a free body diagram in HIP 98 available, where it explains the muscle insertion points as well as the line of action mostly. Okay, there's a simplified free body diagram as well available within the HIP 98 sort of module. So please, I would request, please get on with the whole module and start doing the things as I have requested you on my lecture. Okay? Anything else? I hope everybody could submit.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, in today's
Sir,
test, actually, I submitted 2 minutes late. So
2 minutes late is not a problem, sir. 2 minutes late is not a problem.
okay, sir. Thank you.
10 minutes late is a problem.
Okay. I submitted at 12:17.
ठीक है.
Okay.
Take it easy, man.
Sir, I had a doubt actually.
Yeah.
So we did calculations during elbow flexion, right? Static calculations during elbow flexion. We found out muscle forces in 3 of the muscles and joint reaction forces. But I read the paper on elbow2.pdf. In that case, during full extension, calculations were done, static analysis.
Yeah.
In those analysis, somehow tension due to the interosseous ligament was ignored. I couldn't understand why it was ignored, and I calculated the joint reaction on humeroradial joint, and in that case, transverse sliding force was significant, around 176 Newton. So in that case, it is also possible that sliding may occur. So in that case,
of course. We have to.
So why was it ignored? The ligament force. Sorry, the
I have to check the stuff. Okay, again. That is for the extension case, right?
Yes, sir. In extension case, it was ignored.
Yes. I have to just check it again myself.
Okay, sir.
Okay, Sebi, can you just check that calculation for the extension case?
Okay, I will check and who is this?
Avinav.
Okay, I will get back to him.
Ajay, Avinav, you came up with a very good report of the gait analysis, assignment 1, isn't it?
Sir, I submitted to you. Yes, I mailed you.
Yeah. I think it was very well appreciated by SEBI, my TA. You have actually devoted a lot of time, and that's quite appreciated. I would like to see, more people, taking up, extra interest in the HIP 98 that Triptan project. Okay. So I had received over years very good project reports where people have done calculations with free body diagrams, starting from coordinate system till final data, whatever they have understood, how their performance, how the calculations were done in case of. So people have been quite serious, and every group should come up with their unique report. Okay, not copy from one group to the other. Then the whole essence of doing this project, this exercise, is not a successful venture unless you do it yourself. So we have discussed this among my TAs, and the uniqueness of the report would fetch you special credit. Okay. Now, generally, what we had discussed, the academic regulations is 60% is based on your major test. Say, for example, there should be a test in February. I have received some emails regarding some classes on Mondays. I acknowledge it, but we will quickly fix up the date. So there will be two major tests on 2 halves of the course. That comes to 60%. Now 40% is based on your continuous evaluation, like the assignments and small tests like this today. But within that 40%, I think say 40 marks, for example. Okay. 40 marks is for continuous evaluation and 60 marks is for 2 major tests. So in that 40 marks, I would like to give, it's not finalized, I will talk again, 20 marks, 50% will be on your term project. Okay. Or I can do one thing, 15 marks on term project, and another 15 for 15 into 4 we can make, no, it's 40. Yeah, so we have to find some other combination so that we grade all the assignments. Okay.
Okay, sir.
But I would like to see unique reports coming up, because this whole knowledge on the first part of the course on musculoskeletal mechanics, this is ultimately what you should learn in totality. Okay. The second part of the course is more on solid mechanics. Okay, that is on bone mechanics, stresses, strains, and implant design, everything related to more inclined towards the solid mechanics design subjects. But the first part of the course is elaborately on musculoskeletal mechanics, combined with anatomy, physiology, concepts, and the relationship between structure and movements. Okay, so I would like to see the students come up with very nice reports. Take care. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So let us leave the class. So everybody has submitted. Sebi, just a moment. Can you check whether how many people have submitted this in the assignment section? So I go to Teams, assignment.
Uh, 159 have submitted out of 161. 159.
Yeah. So the total number of students is 160 or 161? I think it is
161.
160. Is it 160?
Okay.
Because there is a TA who is also there, I think. What do you mean the?
Okay, I will. But the Excel sheet which you provided had 161.
161. Okay.
Yeah.
Goel Kashish turned in 7 minutes late, 4 minutes late, a few seconds late. These are no problem. ठीक है, it's mostly people have submitted. It's good. So it's in this way you learn basically. What I mean, say unless there is some sort of a test or examination, you don't tend to prepare. There is submission. So it is simple problem that I had discussed in the class. It's good for you that you revisit, like people like Avinav Gupta came up with a query regarding the second part of the problem, say on extension. So Sevi, make sure that we can answer him in the next class. Okay, just check.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. Abhinav, I have sent you a message. Would you please reply for that?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So as I told you, this subject is not a conventional way of learning subject. Okay, it's not like engineering mechanics or solid mechanics or fluid mechanics or thermodynamics. Here you have to give your own effort, do a lot of self-study, look into the papers, because it's a research-based subject. Okay, there is no straightforward books here and there. Books are mostly topic-based, and there is a lot of papers that I refer during my lectures, and it's an evolving subject. So as we go on doing research, new things come up, new ideas, new techniques, and that is what we pass on to the students. Okay. And overall, whatever I have received comments of the students last 10 years, they enjoy the course to the fullest extent, because this is where you can apply your knowledge. It's a complex set of events, complex system, undergoing complex motion. Okay, so therefore, all your basic idea of mechanical engineering, basic subjects, you should be able to apply appropriately, and based on the specification of the problem, you can come up with your solutions. Okay, that's the main idea. Okay, thank you all. Have a nice weekend and start preparing for forming the groups. And as I told you, the steps, focus on HIP 98 now. Thank you. Anything you want to ask? Hello?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So as we move ahead with the term projects and things like that, you will have some questions here and there, and the TAs are there to answer those questions. I will be also there. Okay? But start. Give a start to the whole procedure. Okay? Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.